Last time I managed to build this car and grow some crops, but the robots keep stealing my food, so today it's time to change that. I want to add defenses to the base and especially to the crops, so that we can defend against raids. But before we do that, I need to upgrade the car, so here's everything we need. We'll need drills. I want to get 2 of these so I can actually craft the first one. These will allow us to mine rocks, so that way we're gonna get a ton more metal, so that we can upgrade all the other things. Then I want some suspensions, particularly the off-road suspension, and for this we're gonna need oil as well, but that's okay because we're gonna need oil for fuel too, so I'm going to gather a ton of that. I also want to add headlights to the car and have them on a switch so that we can turn them on whenever we want to. And then another thing I want to add is a better engine, because the one we have right now is not very good, so we need to change this engine. Then we'll need to add another engine for the drills that we talked about earlier, because these need to spin as well. So that means we need 2 engines, and that would leave us with a rear-wheel drive car, but I want to make it all-wheel drive, so then we're gonna need another engine on top of that, so we need 3 of these bad boys. After we have all of that going and we are starting to get more metal, we are going to need to get to the next level. So first we're gonna have resource collectors, 1 or 2. I want them on the car. We're gonna make the car a lot bigger and heavier, but the extra engines will help us out with that. So we'll get the resource collector to grab the resources and bring them back to the base, and then we'll have the refine bot to automatically refine those resources so that we don't have to do it manually anymore. Of course, we will also need some chests. I'm thinking multiple of those, like the large chests. So we'll need glue as well, which we'll get from the clamshells in the ocean. You'll see in just a minute. But we have 1 drill already, so let's get the second one. We need some more metal blocks too, but we need water for that. Okay, so I'll just get that and then I'll show you as I attach the drills to the car. This is the car that we did in the last video. It's pretty bad. Only the wheels are good because the seat and the engine are just awful. So we'll get that bigger, we'll place the drills on it, and then we'll go mining for some rocks. Alright, so we have both drills, and I was thinking of putting them on here in front. So let's see if this works. We'll have 2 bearings and then the drills. So now we'll need an engine to attach these to. We need to craft some better engines. Let me see here. Alright, so all we need is crude oil. I'll just show you how we get that really quick. Actually, let's take the car over there. And now the car should be a little bit heavier up front, but I switched it to front-wheel drive because it just felt a little bit better. But with this really bad engine, it just seems to work pretty bad. That's why we're upgrading to a nicer engine that's gonna help us a lot. And after we get the suspension as well, that should be great because the car will be bigger. It has to carry around all of the resource collectors and all of that. But let's go into the water and find some oil. And then we also need some shells, so let's do that. We need some glue clamps to make glue, and then we need some crude oil. This is also going to help us to make more gas, because with 3 engines on our car we are going to use a ton of gas, so we'll definitely need some more oil. But yeah, I'll get these and then we'll attach everything and connect the drills so that we can spin them from our driver's seat. Okay, so here we are. Let's go ahead and craft these engines. We only have enough materials for 1 of them, so we'll need more scrap metal. But actually, once we get 1 of them, we can just drill for metal, so we don't have to farm these bots anymore. I think I can also get some glue, if I can find where that is. Here it is, so we can get glue as well, which is nice. And then let me see, what do we need for a chest? Yeah, so we need even more metal, and we need glue as well. I'm going to get the large chest. I don't think the small one is going to do us any good. We want this one, which also has attachment points. Those attachment slots on the chest will allow us to attach it to the refine bot, so it will refine the resources and place them into the chest. We are going to do that as well with a water pump, so that we automatically get a ton of water. And we can also use these pipes to get the water all the way into the base with the pump and the pipes, so we don't need to go there for anything. We'll just get all of the water straight into the base. But here we go, we've got our engine. So I'll attach the bad engine to the drills because they're just going to spin approximately the same anyway. And then we'll get the better one to the wheels. Now let's also attach this engine to the seat, and then the other one should have a switch. So we're gonna use this switch right here, and this will be connected to the other engine and then to the seat. So this way we can drive around. Oh, we don't have gas. Let me throw some gas in here. we might need to get some more power. I'll set it to max. But once we press the 1 key, absolutely nothing happens. Okay, just let me check this out. Oh, this was set to low, so we're just gonna go it to the max. And here we go. So they are spinning and we can stop them whenever we want. Okay, so this should be good. I'm going to use this to get some more metal. For now, we'll just have to manually refine it, but then we're gonna get the resource collectors and the refinery. So I'm going to do this. Let me just show you how I get the first pieces, and then I'm going to do the rest off camera because it might take a while. So this is the rock that we need to mine. So there we go. And now we are mining it. It takes a while until we break it. Alright, so we broke one. Let me just turn that off. Once we get them into smaller chunks, we can hit them with the hammer. But if we want to, we can drill them more to get them into even smaller chunks without having to use the hammer. Now we are gonna get both rocks and metal from this. This is stone. So let's refine that. I think we'll get 10 for each. So this should be 10 stone, yeah. And this will be metal. It won't be scrap metal, which we then have to craft into metal. This will be directly metal, so we're getting metal blocks here. So I'm going to get a ton of these until we have all the materials we need to upgrade the car and then to build defenses around the crops and the base. But I'm really excited about getting those resource collectors on the car. This car is going to be like 3 times bigger or something like that, and I'm really excited about it. So I'll do this off camera and then I'll show you what we've got. I mined that whole thing over there filled with rocks, so now we've got plenty of metal. I think we got almost 400 metal here and more than 600 stone. So let's go ahead and craft some suspension. Right, so for this we need metal, embers and water. So I'll have to get the water real fast. What do we need for a bucket? Okay, so I can craft another bucket because I've got 3 here. So it would be so much easier for me if I had 4 of them. I could just make 2 trips and get all of that. And I can also show you how this feels off-road with no suspension. So here we go. On the road it's pretty well. We are not really that fast, but we can go. Now off-road it starts swerving around, it's bumpy, it jumps a lot, it keeps jumping up and down. You can see it right there. So I'm really hoping that the off-road suspension will fix all of these problems. Okay, now we've got all the water, so we can craft 40 of these blocks. We'll do them 20 at a time. I could upgrade this craft bot to make it have 4 slots here, but I want to save my component kits for now, so we might do that later on. And now we've got enough materials to get the off-road suspension, so we can start crafting that. And once we have all 4 of them, we'll attach it to the car. While those are crafting, let me also get a resource collector. Alright, now we have one, so that's about how big this gets, and we'll need 2 of them. I was thinking maybe 1 in front of the seat and 1 in the back, so we're gonna need to get this car longer. That's why we're gonna add the suspension once we're done with making the car bigger. Now let's see, we need it a little bit wider, so I'll add 1 extra block in width to each side, and I hope that's about as wide as this thing is. Now we need to make it a little bit longer, both in the front and in the back. We'll also need some new engines, so I'll have to gather some more oil for that. But right now let me just create a platform like this, and let's see how much space this takes. Okay, so that's enough space for it, but what if we remove the engines and place them on the side here? I think that would be better, because if the car is way too long, then we've got different problems, because we are gonna get stuck on hills, and that's not gonna be fun. So let me get this switch. I'll just place it here on this, and then this second one, do we have enough space in here? No, so we'll have to make this a little bit longer still. Let's see, I think 3 blocks should be enough. And then we'll have this. We can always move it afterwards. I will eventually want to get a bed into the car. Let me show you. So I would like a respawn bed, but we'll need cotton for that. We've got paint ammo, we found some, and we've got wood, but I don't have cotton yet. But once we do, we'll get a bed, because that's gonna allow us to respawn back at the car. So that's why we'll definitely need a bed as well. But now let's see if we have enough room in here. I think we do. All right. So that's gonna be the seat in the middle. And then we'll get the engines on the sides. So we'll have 1 engine behind and then 2 engines to the side. I won't be using this engine anymore, I don't like that. So we are going to get the better ones, and we'll have 2 of them on the sides here to connect to everything. But I think that should be good enough. Let me get these things out, and we'll place the suspension on here. We still have the small wheels, but we'll upgrade to the big ones eventually. And because we are so big, we're gonna use this extra thing before the suspension so that we can stand higher off the ground. This suspension is going to get compressed anyway, so we are not going to be that high up. So we've got suspension on the back. Now we need to attach the wheels, just like that, with a bearing here. So we've got the back wheels done. So if we do that, the suspension gets compressed, but we can put it up a bit. You can see the limit is right here now, but if we upgrade it, we can just get it up and up and up as this level goes up. But we'll have to do that for each suspension piece individually, so that will take a lot of component kits. And now let's also do the front wheels. So I'll do the same 1, 2, 3, 4 and the 5th. But here we'll also add bearings for steering. Okay, so now you can see the difference. The back suspension is set to the limit of stiffness and the front one is not. So if I set this up a bit, this should be better. I think we have way too much weight in the front. What we need to do is get these wheels a couple blocks further to the front. So we're gonna have to see if we held the weld tool. Let me just see if we can get that. With the weld tool, everything would be so much easier. We need 20 metal blocks for this. Alright, so we'll need water again. We have amber in here, but we'll need more water. I'm going to get that, because with the weld tool, I don't have to rebuild this all again. I can just get this block here, and then I will have this piece, this whole wheel with the suspension on the ground. And using the weld tool, I can just weld it back here. So yeah, I'm going to get that, and we'll need the weld tool anyways, because it's a really important tool. Okay, we have everything, so let's go ahead and craft 20 of these, and once we have that, we can craft the weld tool. So here we go. This is gonna take a while, so in the meantime I can just detach these two, and then we'll put them back on there. And there we have it, so we can now use this to weld everything. I'll get this on the third one this time, and I'll see if this fixes our balancing issues. Let's get this off the lift. Okay, that looks better. The front wheels are still pretty weird, so let me just get it like that. Alright. So one thing we can do is reduce the stiffness in the back. I can reduce it by just 1, but I don't think that's good. We want all the suspension we can get. So another thing we can do is upgrade the suspension in the front. So we might want to replace this scrap metal with wood, and this will reduce some of the weight that's up front. Okay, so this kind of balanced it a bit. We are still pretty high up. And now we'll need engines. And once we have the engines, it's time to go. It will be a rear wheel drive right now. Alright, so we've got suspension going. The front is lifting when we press the acceleration. Is this too much suspension? Maybe. Let me see just what happens when we go 1 down with the suspension. Just one little adjustment here, and see if this feels any different. Alright, so that's better. I don't know, I think we should leave it on this setting for now. But look at that, we just went through that crater like it was nothing. So this really helps, and we are out of fuel already. Yeah, I'll have to get some more fuel as well. And then we'll see what this thing can do mining rocks. Okay, so we've got everything we need right here. I've got the refine bot on this side, and this will automatically refine resources and it will send them in here. So that's why I've got these big chests. Let me turn them around like that. And we can place this here. It will attach to that mounting point there. Alright, so once I stick this in here, it should automatically refine it and it will go straight into the chest. So let's see it working here. And there it is. We've got 2 of them shredded and they're right there. There's nothing in the refinery output. It all goes into the chest. So we're gonna collect all these resources here. We're gonna get scrap metal, metal, stone, all of that. So everything will go in there. Then I also have another chest. I'll place this here in the back, where I can get rid of all this other stuff that I don't really need right now. And then we've got some extra engines for the car. Let me lower this a bit. So we'll have these engines right here on the side. I'll disconnect this one. And let me see if I can get this seat to connect to 2 different engines. Alright, but then I don't know if I can connect the switch to it, because we've reached the maximum number of connections. Okay, so I'll worry about that later. Now we can have this all-wheel drive. So each engine can link up to 2 wheels. We can upgrade them to get more, but I'm just using 2 of them. So now we've got all-wheel drive. Both of them are connected to the seat. And then this switch will be connected to this engine in the back, which will be connected to the drills. And we'll have them spinning towards each other like that. We've got a scrap seat, maybe that's the problem. We could get one of these better seats, but we'll need cotton for that. So I guess for now we'll just have to get out and press this in order to turn on all of that, because we've reached the maximum connections for the seat, but that's alright. Now when we get these full, we won't have to manually grab everything in there. We'll just take them off the car and place them next to it, and it will automatically grab everything. So now we can go out mining so that we can build something around our crops here. Maybe we can move them to the other side. I think that would be even better. So I'll grab all of these, move them there. Then we're gonna mine some more rocks, build a defense system around our crops, and then we will plant more crops so that we trigger a raid. And once we trigger the raid, we're gonna wait for it. I think it comes at midnight, and we will fight off all of the robots. We can also use the car, we can run them over, and we can have the drills spinning, so we can use the car to do that. And then if we really want to, we can add saw blades to the car and all of that, so that we can get a ton of robots. I'm really curious about how big the raids can get. I'm a little bit scared as well, I'm not gonna lie to you. So I need to get some gas into all of these engines. So here we go, we've got all-wheel drive now, we've got awesome suspension, we can get over most things, and we've got our drills up front. So let's just go ahead and find some resources. We've already mined all the rocks from that little hill there, but we'll find some more. Because we've got all this weight on the top, it really likes to flip over, but I guess that's alright for right now, we can always upgrade it later. And I'll just go to this on the top, we've got a ton of rocks there. They are trying to fight my car, they're trying to break pieces off. Alright, this is not working. This is not working. Let's stop that. I'll just hammer you guys, if that's alright. Let me just, yep, just like that. And you too. Come here, come here. Alright, there we go. And I'll throw these in here. And let's go for these rocks right here. We are mining them. Yeah, this works great. We might want to distance the drills a bit. Let me see what I can do about that. Alright, so I think this will work better. Let me get this off the lift. I think they work better now. We can cover more ground as well. So let's keep mining these, and we're gonna get a ton of resources so that we can start building our defenses. So just like that, if we keep mining these and we get to the refinable resources, let me stop this. So if we get to the refinable resources, let me just hit these a couple times, they will automatically get grabbed in there. You see that that one got grabbed up here, so if they are close enough, they will just get grabbed. We can throw them with like that. And you can see they all get stacked up here. So yeah, I'm going to mine all of these, and then I'll see you back at the base to refine them. I'm back, and I filled these things up with all of those rocks there. We've got metal, we've got scrap metal, we've got rocks, all of that good stuff. And you can see this is automatically taking it from here. We can place the other one right next to it as well. So I think that should be good. So this will automatically take them, and everything will go into this chest. We've got stone here, you can see this number going up. We've got scrap metal, and we'll probably put the metal here in the middle so that we've got everything. And this is gonna get us a ton of resources. Now, because we have all of this stone, I was thinking we can start using that to protect our crops. So I think 20 should be a good start for the first raid that we are gonna get, because the more you plant, the bigger the raid, and I'm a little bit scared, so we'll do 20. And we'll have basically a 5x4 rectangle here, so that's 20 soil. I just realized we're gonna need a ton of water for this, so I'll get a couple more buckets, and we're gonna do that a little bit easier. Alright, now we're gonna need to place some stone here to protect this. We'll have the corners like that. I think 4 tall is enough. And then we don't want just a wall, because they can break through it like that one at a time and they'll get through the wall. We want it to be something like this, and multiple of these, so they will get blocked here, so they'll have to go through multiple of them until they reach the crops to break them. So what if we do that, and then we extend it this way? I don't think they can get in between these, and maybe we'll have it like this as well. Of course, we will have more advanced stuff like turrets with guns that are going to shoot at them, and sensors and all that stuff, but right now I just want to get started with something at least to protect everything that we've got here. What if we had like 10 buckets? Then we would have to do 2 trips. But as I said, we are going to use a pump as well, so we'll just have a pump that will bring us water, and then with sensors we can do some automation so that the crops get automatically watered and they can also get automatically harvested, so we don't have to do that manually. So that would be awesome. I hope they can't jump over it, but I'm pretty sure they can't jump, so we should be good on that front. This would be enough to protect our crops, but I might want to go a little bit further. So we might want to do the outside square as well. Get all of these linked together like that. And I'm really curious now, are they smart enough to break this into pieces? That would be pretty interesting. So for example, they would have to get through everything, but what if they come at an angle and just do this thing? This piece will just fall off. Are they smart enough to do that? I'm not sure, but I am willing to find out. That would be pretty interesting if they can actually do that. That would be amazing. And then if we see that they get through this, we can also add some of these things in here, or we can actually fill this whole thing up. But for right now, I feel like that's a little bit too much, so I won't do that right now. I'll just fill these parts in. This is the metal 190, and we got some more stone as well. Let me get this in here. So I'll keep using the stone. We might want to barricade this entrance as well. And then I also want to do something like this on the corners. I think that will just make it look a little bit better. But in the future, what I will really like doing, I would like to add saw blades to this. So in the corners or even here, we can add saw blades all around. And the robots are pretty stupid. They will just go straight for the crops most of the time. So they will just run in here and the saw blades will cut them up, and that will make our job a lot easier defending the base. What do we need for a saw blade? Oh, it's just metal and metal block 2. Alright, now we've got the whole middle of it metal instead of wood and scrap metal. So this should be a little bit better with flipping over and stuff. I'll just leave it right here for now, next to our props, but we'll go fill up the buckets in just a second as well. And a good thing to know, if you have all the buckets on you and you just go underwater, they will automatically get filled, so you don't have to fill each one individually. We've also got some wok meat here, so if we get the cook bot, we can craft some food that way. Now let's plant the crops. I'll get some tomatoes, and yeah, we can have 20 tomatoes. I think that's pretty good. So we'll just plant them like that. There we go, we've got 20 tomatoes. Now we need to water them. Oh, we triggered it. Unauthorized farming detected, so they already know we planted them. Oh, and the raid is coming in 26 seconds? What? So they... Oh, okay. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't even get to water my crops. I was expecting it to come at the next midnight, not right now, but I guess this is good as well. So we'll have to defend our base unexpectedly. I guess that's what a real raid should be like. If you expect it, it's not really a raid. So I can't really water them right now. I'll water them after the raid. So let me just turn these on, and we can see some robots coming already. We've got the small ones, and let's run them over with this. I don't really have a lot of maneuverability with this. Maybe we should leave the resource collectors out. But hey, we ran one over. Actually, two of them. And there are some haybots here. They are breaking through the defenses. But as I said, because we've got multiple layers, it's going to be a lot harder for them to do that. Alright, let me get out of the car and I'll just use the hammer on these guys. Okay, we've got some small ones. We don't really have a lot of haybots. Probably also because this is the first raid, so it's not that brutal. But we've got some resources. That was all. Are they done? And maybe we should have a separate car just for the raids, because this is not very maneuverable. This is for collecting resources mainly. We might want to have a car with saw blades and drills and all that stuff that's a little bit smaller and faster, so that we can turn around on a dime. But you can see the damage they did. This works pretty nice. So my strategy was that they will only get through the first couple of layers. But I think they were in fact smart enough to break off the whole corner. I don't think they went around and did each block. So yeah, I think this was a success. I was expecting a longer raid with more robots, so I don't know if that's because this was the first one I ever got. But yeah, we can just water them like this. Sometimes you can water two at once, if you time it correctly like that. Now we need to get some more defenses for the base as well, so this needs to be defended as well. So that raid's over, but we'll have plenty more, so I really need to step it up. Next, I want to block access into the main part of the base, and I've also heard about a dwarf who set up shop somewhere around around these hills. So I'll have to find this dwarf and his little shop, but make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of that, and I'll see you next time.